Welcome back to PlayStation Corner. My name is Alex and today we're going to be taking a look at HUD, Outlaws and Legends. This is the latest online multiplayer experience and I'm here to take a look at whether the gameplay is worth your time, and then I'm also curious to see, does it capture the spirit of its Robin Hood influence? Well, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family, and let's get started. So first up, I'm going to answer the spirit question immediately. It's purely characters with no real story at all. Rather, Robin Hood, Little John, Freya Tuck and Marion are our heroes. I also noticed here names were spelled slightly different, so no doubt that is a licensing issue. The Sheriff of Nottingham then also makes an appearance as what you would consider the main enemy, referred to here simply as Sheriff. Gameplay though as it stands is limited with just one mode. It is known as Heist, which is PvPvE. The idea, a chest of gold is contained within a vault on the map and it needs to be extracted. The map though filled not only with an army of NPCs defending it, but also an opposing team of 4. The extraction though, it's a 4-step process. First you need to find the sheriff and steal the vault key. Then you need to locate and open the vault. Then carry the chest to that extraction point and finally get it out of here. That, as I said, is the only mode currently available, so I hope you like the sound of it. The only other mode in here is a simple training heist, which is basically versus NPCs only. The mode is fine honestly, especially if you find a good team to work alongside, one that is communicating with each other, but honestly, the game has no restrictions currently on who is what character. It often led me into teams of just, let's say, 4 Robin Hoods. I really think they could do with a restriction here, maxing out at say maybe 2 of the same character, because when you get into a team of those 4 Robin Hoods, all at ranged attacks is their kind of main skill, they're not communicating, you've just got absolutely no chance. I did my best to support switching out my character, but I did find many online, they were not so accommodating, they wanted to play as that title character. One issue I picked up on very quickly, the NPCs to begin with, that was an intense prospect, never knowing what would come next, but it quickly lost its impact when I recognised the placement actually remains largely the same at key points on the map. Now the first few matches I played, I was on the same map. You cross a bridge to kind of the castle, there's 3 NPCs standing there. That was intense, kind of stealthing our way across. But by my 3rd attempt, I was basically sprinting across, ready for them and ready for action. The focus seems to have been placed on rotating the sheriff's kind of movement more than anything, which makes sense, you need to stealth that key from him. But I'd really like to see them expand on this in the future, because what it meant was I started out playing the game very stealthily and it quickly devolved very much into almost a hack and slash. These NPCs as well, the AI is about as dumb as they come, either clueless to your location or charging at you head on. There's no strategy at all, no flanking from them. For the most part, as I said, they're just going to charge at you sword in hand and just try to overwhelm you. Fortunately though, with some decent attack damage that they do deliver, they still feel like a worthy opponent. On the maps then, rounding out gameplay, expect to find collectibles which will lead to a trophy. The trophy list here, it seems relatively simple. I achieved about 30% in the first couple of hours, and looking at it, it basically seems to be just play the game and it's pretty straightforward. There's weapons chests on the map then as well as bomb chests to reload, and finally hold points. These are squares on the map that you capture and these will turn into spawn points. The issue I had with these then, I was often loaded in to find an NPC literally standing on top of me, or maybe an opposing player ahead, because they were of course trying to take control of it by standing in it. If it's being challenged, I shouldn't be able to spawn there, and they need to update this. I think it's clear here, I had some fun with this one, but for every good point it was very easy to find a weak one. I think right now it just feels like it needs more balancing and definitely more content. The real problematic moment for this one though, it has to be the sheriff himself. When you steal that key at the opening of a round, he follows you, and most matches actually end in this disaster of all-out war. It lives up to its PvP tag there, but the sheriff, he's a one-hit kill, so when you're trying to win this game, you stand in one location, you hit X, it loads up the treasure, but if he gets even remotely close to you, it's going to play out an animation and you are dead instantly. Not a big fan of instant deaths personally, and this really feels like almost a cheap tactic to make him overly powerful. While we're on the sheriff then as well, he appears to be the world's slowest homing missile, because once he has eyes on you, there's very little you can do except for, run away. Outside of that, maybe hope a teammate distracts him or throw a grenade that will stun him. Running away though, on multiple occasions, I actually broke line of sight entirely and I hid, but he knew where I was, like some sort of medieval Terminator. So it seems he's built more on a radius AI, so you simply need to get far enough away for him to now ignore you. The other option for winning, he'll get stuck on the environment pretty frequently and occasionally even just gets bored, stands there and lets you win, like this moment you're watching in the background. Before we jump into everything else gameplay though, when the matches are working, they can definitely be fun. When it all came together, there's a few moments when I kind of saw all of its potential almost realised. That is especially true if you have friends to jump in with who will communicate, who will balance the team correctly as well, because when all hell breaks loose, honestly, you need your team on your side. Going in though, right now, you're just going to need to be forgiving of its flaws and single modes. So characters, and as we said, look, you get 4. You got Robin, who is ranged naturally, bow and arrow in hand. John is the heavy with a hammer. Tuck is mid-range and kind of medic. And then Marianne is stealth. Each has their moment for sure to shine on the battlefield, but I will say I don't think the balancing is quite where it needs to be. Robin's bow, for example, that's going to take some serious practice to get it right, and if you don't land a headshot, that enemy is not going down. Seems to be very little aim assist as well, which makes, sense. They want to make it challenging. John, on the other hand, though, has a jumping hammer attack, and what I picked up on quickly was as long as you're kind of aiming in your opponent's general direction, you will literally home in on them automatically. You can't give John that level of assist and not Robin and then expect it to be fair. Not a huge issue, but I guarantee you people will of course maximize this advantage. Controls though for each are solid of course. Each can duck, enter a stealth mode or quiet mode. They can hide in foliage, basically the usual. Each then has a block or a dodge. They have a heavy and a light attack if you use ammo, so think like Robin with his bow or Marianne. You will need to actually pick that up on the battlefield, it is limited. And the movement throughout is solid. The combat also feels relatively heavy. Round it out then though, you can pick up bombs as well. As I mentioned, these will be used mainly against the sheriff, though you can waste them on other enemies if you so choose to. And then you also have a special meter that charges. You'll tap triangle to kick it in, and just to give you an example, for John this makes him near invincible. For Robin it's almost an exploding arrow. Definitely worth experimenting with each character to see which one is the right fit for you. I started as Robin, but I actually quickly switched to John. I liked his heavy attack. I liked his approach to battle, which was more kind of hands-on and a little bit easier to control. The most unique bit of the characters though, it's got to be that they've implemented a stamina system here, and for me, it's a little bit aggressive how quickly it goes down. Honestly, sprinting drains it. John, 2 swings and you're out, you're running around waiting for it to come back. I get why they did it to avoid it just turning into some sort of like spam attack fest. Also it adds a little bit of balance, but I think they could afford to maybe double it in length, which, it wouldn't interrupt the flow or the pace of the battle as it does currently. After each match then, you'll not only level up yourself, but your camp hub world as well. This unlocks more cosmetics. To do this, you will need to choose how much gold goes in your pocket and how much goes to the people. Really nice system actually, I quite like this. The gold to the people is actually what's going to upgrade that camp, and that felt very unique that I could choose what I was kind of sacrificing. This camp though is basically the main menu, and here you can search for a game, you can change your weapon which is purely cosmetic, you can buy new outfits, and then you can add perks, which feels a little bit like a play on Dead by Daylight, though nowhere near as evolved. Here though, under perks, you basically get spots for 3 different kind of, let's say, buffers. You'll get a small selection though to add into these slots, and you're going to need to hit a level requirement before you get access to many of them. A few early examples though, John gets a perk which makes him like his attacks faster as his health dwindles. Likewise, Tuck gets a adjustment to his gas grenade which basically heals his teammates. Overall for gameplay, look, it's so limited, but with a lot of good ideas that simply feel currently undercooked, and like I said, almost early access. I see the potential, you're just going to need to be forgiving of its issues, and right now, gotta be honest, I'm struggling to kind of find the excitement in it, or reason, or even motivation to head back in immediately. Graphically then, it's a good looking game. The variety in the maps are solid, from more traditional castle-like locations to swamps. While I wouldn't say it's particularly next-gen in its visuals here, there's for sure some nice, lighting on showing some detail in this world. Occasionally, I will say I noticed some minor kind of popping in the environment, mainly textures, but overall, look, very few complaints. The animations, The enemy animations at least a little repetitive at times, but I mean that's fine. It's a whole lot of dudes swinging swords about, so there's only so much you can do. And I really liked some of the death animations, you know, heads exploding, all that good stuff. The only issue, some wonky physics here and there, like get hit and ragdoll physics kick in. Likewise, walk off a ledge and drop down, you can kind of like float for a split second, getting clipped in the environment. But again, kind of minor things that I wouldn't say are going to impact the game in any way. Just look, overall, love that kind of gothic Robin Hood look they've gone for. And also, as I said, ultra violent with heads exploding, all sorts of stuff. That's really refreshing for an experience involving Hood. They're normally pretty, like, let's face it, family-friendly affairs. Audio finally and music is decent enough, not much to it, repetitive for each map, but it kind of grows and evolves with progression. It's kind of like backing up, you know, that intensity. It never got overbearing though, or annoying. Weapons then, they sound decent and each comes with their own effect and kind of like, they sound heavy enough basically. When you swing that sword, you feel like you're really going to crush some skulls. Otherwise though, some minor environmental effects, some decent explosions for bombs and all that good stuff, and some very occasional dialogue, which is mainly the sheriff, and it's very generic. It's stuff like, you know, look intruders or get them and so on. Overall though, audio does enough, honestly, nothing special, but I don't think you're going to have much in the way of complaints. So overall then, look, Hood, Outlaws and Legends has some really good ideas, but it has a lot of things now that we need to see get figured out, developed, or at least changed. The core idea, I like the 4v4 versus NPCs, a good one. When it works, you're going to feel that intensity, but so often it just kind of devolved into hack and slash moments. That's frustrating because it's mainly down to enemy design, you know, everybody's starting to remember where the majority of these like NPCs will be. Likewise, the sheriff's the homing missile, and he kind of just like stands there and he's basically there just to annoy you more than anything else. I'm not going to be attaching a score today with this one though. It's no doubt going to change a lot over this next year with the plans they have, like new characters, new modes, but I can't help but think they should have maybe tagged this as early access, because that is very much how it feels, honestly. I'm not even sure if they should have given it maybe a little bit more development time and just brought a little bit more to the table for this initial release. You'll find a fun battle occasionally, but expect along that journey a fair few rough moments and expect to be very forgiving of some of its issues. I hope it gets where it needs to be, but as it stands, I'd be lying if I said I could easily recommend it. There just isn't enough here to keep me coming back personally, so I wouldn't pass that on to you either. I was feeling the burnout within just a couple of hours. The leveling up with perks is just limited, not rewarding enough. That enemy placement, as I said, got stale, and the balancing issues between different characters was a little frustrating when no one would talk and you end up with like 4 Robin Hoods who couldn't hit an opponent a foot away from them. Jump on with friends though, and naturally this issue will at least be corrected. It's not surprising either though, like it's a day one launch of a new multiplayer experience, and let's face it, like how often do they really release in perfect condition and even complete? Pretty much never. The only thing is, normally they are free to play with microtransactions. This one's asking for $30 up front, and that's why I can't say I'll guarantee you'll get your money's worth, because I don't really feel like I have just yet from it. As long as the year one roadmap plays out correctly though, there's definitely some exciting ideas in here, and I have no doubt this will feel like a very, very different game in 12 months, and it has what I hoped more than anything it would, and that is it has potential. Just are you good with working with potential and going along for the ride with the dev, because there's going to be high points and there's for sure going to be low points along that journey. I'm not going to be returning myself anytime soon until I probably see those first few updates roll out. Will you be adding this one to the collection though, or skipping and saving that cash? For me, the next big multiplayer is going to be Chivalry. That's coming up very, very soon. The beta was awesome. Can't wait to dive back into that world. With that though, like, hit subscribe, join the growing PlayStation family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.